Hey guys, BonOakley back again. Have you ever looked at a weapon for a class and just thought, who thought of these stats, either in a broken sense or just because they were god awful? So have I, and in today's video I'm going to be going through a bunch of weapons in no particular order and adding my own stats to them to try and improve them. So then, let's begin. Because I like Pyro, I'm going to start off with him, and the first weapon I'd change is the Phlogistinator. I've said before, but the stats for this are that upon dealing fire damage with it or any other weapon, it will fill up the oomph meter on which you can unleash full crits upon others once it is full by right clicking. Now this to me is just undeserved because it's way too easy to gain the meter and there's no way of actually defending yourself from projectiles like every other flamethrower. So what I would do is probably give it a short circuit sort of gimmick. This essentially means that instead of having the meter charging, you could destroy stickies and incoming rockets. This could be a good choice for pyros who are trying to push forward more as well, seeing as if a demo man has a full round of stickies around the door, you can't exactly get through very easily. However, giving a short circuit gimmick will allow pyros to be more aggressive and allow them to lean towards the more offensive method like the class is supposed to. This would come with downside of course. I think the no random crit section should stay as this is already a quite powerful side grade. And when using the right click to destroy projectiles, instead of using just 20 ammo, it should add an extra -8 for each projectile destroyed. So like before, right clicking and successfully destroying 8 stickies would cost you 84 ammo, which adds both the right clicking and the 8 ammo for each of the stickies. This is so that it doesn't become the sole choice for pyro mains and remains a solid choice. And also keep the no air blast component because it doesn't need both. Maybe lower the ammo a bit so this isn't too extreme, but overall this would make the Phlog a more viable choice without overshadowing the rest. Next up is the Extinguisher. It deals critical hits on burning targets at the expense of a -33% damage penalty, no random crits, -20% attack speed, and -75% switch to speed. Now I think the Extinguisher is still an alright choice considering I still use it as my main melee, but it's been nerfed to hell in recent updates. First it only did mini crits, then mini crits when facing the enemy and full crits from behind, and now this recent incarnation. The one we have right now is meh at best, but I still think it needs a buff, but it's still pretty bad compared to the Power Jack. Now the changes I have in mind aren't mind blowing and are quite simple, so it's a little better. First, keep the full crits, no random crits, and attack speed downsize, but make it only have a -20% damage penalty and a -40% switch to speed. This would make it so that its base damage would be raised up to 52 from 44, and it won't switch at the speed of your grandma walking down the street. This would also raise the crit damage up to 157 damage. This would make it more viable when ambushing heavy medic pairs or any pairing with medic, as if they aren't paying attention you could easily blast a medic with flames and strike them down with one swing with the Extinguisher. Again, it's not a lot of changes, but it would make it just slightly better, and I think it would make sure that people wouldn't get their jimmies rustled too much. And for the final weapon for this episode, we have another melee, which is the sharpened volcano fragment. The fragment, on hit, engulfs the enemy in flames, which is the same as other weapons that inflict afterburn. However, in return it will deal 20% less damage. The main problem with this weapon is that most of the Pyro's other weapons can set enemies on fire much easier from a safer distance, so what's the point of using this weapon? Well, my ideas on how to improve this weapon are sort of simple. First, I'd have the weapon release a ring of fire around the Pyro, sort of how the Huolong Heater does, but with a slightly bigger radius, maybe half of the flamethrower's radius. Doing this would let Pyros hit a bunch more people with each swing. If swinging is too often for it, then maybe use it as a right click ability and have it mark the user for death. I would also lower the damage penalty to -10% so it can do slightly more damage than usual, as well as granting mini crits on people who have already been hit by the right click ability fire. This is so that it wouldn't be another Extinguisher clone. I would also make it more viable to keep using on an enemy close range. Overall, the Volcano Fragment will be able to do slightly more damage when hitting them, have a ring of fire that can hit multiple enemies at once, and can do mini crits on enemies hit with said ability. In return, the player still does -10% damage and is marked for death when using the ability. This would make sure it isn't too overpowered and lets it be more useful overall. So in retrospect, I believe that this would boost the effectiveness of some of Pyro's melee weapons, as well as giving the Phlog a unique twist from the others without just being a fill up the meter to do crits weapon. But what do you think? Am I just adding random crap or would they actually be viable in game? Let me know down below. This is BonOakley, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. See ya!